Hey neighbors, welcome to another episode. Today we're going to be talking about some Vanguard Zero information straight out of the presses. Relatively new information actually. So we're going to be talking about Generation Stride, my thoughts on it, and some stuff that you guys could possibly be expecting in the future. But of course, it is not par and parcel for the TCG. This is Vanguard Zero, so a lot of stuff are going to be different. But I'm going to talk about it as a whole, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. So let's begin. So we do have the first introduction of Stride, which is going to be the Generation Stride Set 1 for Vanguard Zero. So let's talk about the mechanic. So Stride Step. If the first player of the 4th turn or more, or the second player's 3rd turn or more, if your Vanguard is grade 3 or more, discard cards so their total grades add up to 3 or more. Wait, if you're granted... How this is phrased, I don't know if this could be like a translation thing, but it does kind of feel like it implies that you can be on grade 4 and you can stride too. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out. Place a G unit on top of your Vanguard. If the strided unit becomes a heart card and the G unit gains the name and power of the heart, so it shares everything. It shares all aspects of the heart as well. And you do sometimes have some cards that have stride bonuses or stride bonus effects when you stride for that turn. If you stride, draw a card. This is kind of good because usually when you do need to pay costs for discarding your cards, you often don't really get a bonus or a boon for it. You need to get it from extra resources or extra cards. And I love the fact that you get it for free. Well, basically for free for striding, which is nice. When the turn ends, the G unit goes back to the G zone face up. Nice, which attributes to your generation break that you might need later in the game. There can be only 8 G units which are outside of the main deck. That, I think, that could possibly change, because in the TCG we currently have G Guardians, and those cards allow you to guard out of the G zone, which can give you some extra defenses against a bunch of your opponent's multi-attacks. So we'll see how those change. If we get added effects or extra abilities, I am very interested to see how that turns out in the future. This, I think, is going to be a very exciting format. You can call me a G-era enthusiast. You know, trust, I'm fine. I have no problems. I have no issues. I might have a small collection. Small tiny collection of GG units. Alright, so let's take a look at some of the cards you guys can be taking a look at in G Set 1. Interdimensional Dragon is a triple rare. When an attack hits a Vanguard, Blast 2 and Soul Blast 1, put all your opponent's rear guards on the bottom of his/her deck. The on hit is actually could be pretty relevant since Vanguard Zero, since there's no real guard, there's no ability to guard right now from your hand outside of your perfect guards, so we'll see. Hopefully that could change in the future. Interdimensional Mystery Flare Dragon is the double rare from the set. Vanguard Circle, when it hits the Vanguard, CB4, that's a very steep cost, to reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. If all 3 cards have different grades, you get an additional turn. That's hella wild. That's so wild, dude. Ooh. That's so wild. So I think the trading card game counterpart of this card did have CB4 reveal 4 different grades, which is cool. Which was cool at the time, you know, kind of, you didn't really have much to use for your CB, and having an outlet as a card to be able to do this with was kind of nice. It's a sort of Hail Mary if you're pretty far behind, but it being able to countercharge 4 if you did not get to hit anything is sort of like, yo, I can fish for this again if I really need to, or I can kind of just proceed with the game if I really need to. So it's just like, you know, this is funny. It's funny. I think it's funny. Gives you an extra turn. It's kind of a cheesy way of like, hey, I can sack my opponent and get another turn for free. Maybe push some PGs out of my opponent's hand they've been farming for. So that's going to be interesting. Alright, and now we have the GR, the new rarity that's been added to Vanguard Zero recently. Then we have Interdimensional Dragon Fate Rider Dragon. Dragon, of course. It's a GR generation rare. Once per turn, no cost. Put one of your rear guards to the bottom of your deck. Search for a card that is a grade greater than the unit. Call it to rear guard circle. For each face-up card in your G zone, choose one of your units, and that unit gets 3k until end of turn for each of the face-up. Oh, so for each face-up you choose one, it gets 3. Okay, well, that's still good. That's still pretty good. I think this card is still pretty nice. You know, you get some extra power on a unit, or you get some extra power in a column, and you can put some pressure. This is really cool. I like it. I like it a lot. And I think what's also interesting about this card too is that it came out in set 2 of G-Era, which was the booster set to Soaring Ascent of Gale Blossom. So I'm interested to see how this changes, because in that set we also got like Narukami, we got Big Belly, we got some Great Nature, and you know, Narukami support. So I'm interested to see like how they change that, introduce us to the other archetypes and on-strides of those abilities and cards too as well. And now we have the namesake card, the ultimate card. I don't know if it's the ultimate card, but it's going to be the very good card we're going to be holding on to for a while. It's called Chronojet Dragon. It's a Gear Chronicle unit. So Vanguard, GB2, which is Generation Break 2. So if you have 2 cards in your G zone face up, so if you're not able to stride that turn, you can activate this ability, and you can attack with it. This unit, when this unit attacks a Vanguard, it gets plus 5k. Have your opponent discard a grade 3 or greater card at random from their hand when activating Sentinel during that battle. If they don't discard, they don't get to. They don't get to use their Sentinel. GG. If you're on 5, GG. When a G unit strides, CB1, put one of your opponent's rear guards to the bottom of your deck. So by default, this archetype, this deck, actually can get rid of your opponents relatively easily. So one of my things that I had when I was thinking about this is that Malem needs to get a chance to hit your opponent's Vanguard, right? So with this archetype, or this card, it allows you to get rid of your opponent's Interceptor. Which is, It was surprising that it actually didn't, like, force you to choose at random for the back row or anything like that. It said, like, no, front row. So, it's going to be a lot more relevant to have double intercepts, even facing against a deck that can get rid of one. Because then at least you make their attack patterns a lot more awkward. Maybe in the future, when we do get Chronojet Dragon G, that we'll have more access to stuff like Time Leap, then we'll see how this one turns out. They also show us more information about the Gmats, the GR Mats. So GR Mats get GR Mats by getting more than 4 GR cards from the gacha. So you get more if you have more than a playset. Decrafting also gives you GR. So if you probably have 4 copies and you have a 5th one that is an SP, you also get GRs of that as well. That's also pretty good. Or if those GRs probably end up being like rank promos and you happen to have, 4 in total, you can decraft one. GR cards can only be crafted by JR crystals. So you cannot use your triple rare crystals. Note, GR crystals and universal mats are the same thing. Oh, so they are just universal mats. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Then you have the box gacha system, which is very close to akin to Duel Links, where you can pull from a set the packs out of a box, and if you pull enough like double rares or triple rares or GRs from the box, and you feel like, okay, I've pulled enough, I want to try to go for the GRs again, you can just reset the box whenever you want to, and you can pull from it again. So one big thing I am very surprised about that they've added to the game is trigger units. We have trigger units in grade 3s that we've had for a while now, for almost over a year. But are actually adding grade 0 triggers to our decks. Which is interesting, because the fact that a lot of cards in G era, a lot of G units, or a lot of things that, you know, Gear Chronicle needs, are stuff like Uwatar, Gearcat, and the Clock Up Worker. I forgot the critical trigger, its name. Hopefully, you know, future JJ puts it in the puts it in post edit what the name is. But a lot of these are actually going to be very interesting. But the trigger units that you get, no trigger units assigned to the unit cannot be changed for it. Okay, so all the original triggers that were triggers will stay their original type. So you cannot assign them a different trigger type. So Uluru, which is the heal trigger for Gear Chronicle, will be a heal trigger for Gear Chronicle still. Just like the other cards that were specific triggers back then. I wonder if we'll get triggers from the legacy parts of the format as well. So cards that were triggers but became units, will they become triggers again, for example? I'm interested to see that, if that could be a change. Okay, that's a very interesting aspect of the game. I'm very excited about this, guys. I am very happy. I'm very happy to hear that this is a change that could happen. Hopefully people who stopped playing Vanguard around this era, or people who got very disinterested, or who were busy with college, high school, or middle school for that matter, and they took a break from Vanguard. Hopefully they're playing Zero, give it a chance, and maybe, who knows, they might start playing the TCG, maybe play some Stride stuff. Ooh, that'd be nice to have some more people play some Premium. That'd be really nice. Wishful thinking though, but I'd be happy either way. So I'd like to thank each and every last one of you awesome people for tuning on in and stopping on by. This has been JJ, signing off.